please stand for our invocation. Let us pray together. Gracious God, we thank you for this opportunity to be in this place tonight, to assemble as a community, to assemble as we transfer those off who have faithfully served, and for those who will be coming on to serve this community. Lord, help these decisions that will be made, the decisions that have been made in the past, that the quality of life will continue to be first and foremost in the minds of this council and these leaders for our citizenry. Lord, we thank you for these freedoms to assemble. We thank you for the oaths of office that will be taken tonight and those who have been honored as those who have served. Forgive us of our shortcomings. It's your name we do pray. Amen. Amen. Remain standing, if you will, and let's pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We apologize that we don't have enough seats tonight, but we do have a full house. So thank everybody for your attendance as we begin this special time tonight. Council, you see the agenda that's before you. Do I have a motion that we approve the agenda?
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second that we approve the agenda. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed, the agenda has been established. First of all, we'll see the consent agenda. The approvals of the minutes and the consideration of the appointment of Mr. Pete Conant under that. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. At this time, we will be honoring any citizens' comments that wishes to be heard. We'll be glad for them to come forward at this time. If not, we'll move directly into the agenda. Anyone wish to be heard tonight before we start? Okay. Well, it gives me great privilege to begin the arrangements tonight with presentations of those who have faithfully served. The council is going off. Many of you have probably heard or read. We have 60 years of service that is rotating off this board. That's a lot of years, a lot of dedication. And we're grateful for each one that has served. Those will be honored tonight. There's no plaque, there's no words, there's no sayings that we can say to these gentlemen who are rotating off that will show the gratitude that this town appreciates. But it is a small, momentous way that we can say we have one of our councilmen who served 24 years, one 20 years, Mr. Crocker served 4 years, and I've served 12. But each one of those services have always been that they have the foremost and in their minds the betterment of this community. And that's proud that we are here to recognize them tonight. So the first one, I'll step over here. I was told to be loud and I have no problem being that. But we have the first one we want to recognize tonight is a representative from District 4, Mr. Zach Crocker. Zach, you come on over. Zach, as he's coming, is probably our most vocal member on this board. Y'all can catch that. If you don't know Zach, Zach's going to talk a lot. But he is a dear friend. He has served well, District 4. I remember Zach when he first came to my office over the jewelry store. He walked in and I didn't really know Zach. And he introduced himself. And he says, Mayor, I'm Zach Crocker, and I have an interest in politics. Well, okay. And he's, how old are you now, Zach? 31, he's 32. Okay, 20 some odd when he wanted to run, so he was a very young candidate. As I remember my first time running at 25, so I knew what was in his heart, was to run and to make his community better. But anyway, we talked for a few minutes, and he said he just didn't know if that's what he wanted to do. I said, well, it's sort of like you got to step in the fire to see if it burns. So you got to go after it if you want it. You feel like you want the fire to do it, do it. Next thing I know, he is filed. Zach has served very faithfully to this county. And he doesn't speak a lot. You won't hear him say a lot. But when he speaks with conviction. And he speaks with a heart that he believes in what he's saying, representing his constituents in his part of the community. And Zach, it's a great privilege to read a proclamation for you.
You don't have to do that, Daniel. I've heard enough of this.
You're going to listen anyway. This proclamation is in honor of Councilman Zachary Crocker for his service to the town of Smithfield. And it says, Zachary Crocker has served as a member of the Smithfield Town Council for 4 years, representing the citizens of District 4. And Zachary Crocker, we call him Zach, dedicated service to the citizens of the town of Smithfield deserves special recognition through the performance of his duties and responsibilities as a member of the town council. Zach has made excellent and constructive contributions for the betterment of the community. Zach Crocker is unique in his sensitivity for doing what is best for the entire community, and he had the courage in expressing his convictions, and in a special way of dealing with complex issues. Whereas the town of Smithfield has been fortunate to have in his service of Zach Crocker, who has rendered good judgment for the betterment of all the citizens of the town of Smithfield. Now therefore, I, Daniel Evans Jr., Mayor of the town of Smithfield, along with the members of this council, express sincere appreciation to Zach for the distinguished service to the town of Smithfield.
Thank you.
Zach, again, it's fitting, as I mentioned earlier, there's no plaque or anything I can say to say thank you enough. And the citizens I know say thank you, but we did want to present you with a key to the city. It don't fit my office. But but it does represent how the people of the community feel, and we're very proud of the service, and we do thank you.
As Daniel mentioned when he started, I have a lot to say at these meetings, and this is going to be no different. I'd like to thank the people of West Smithfield, the fellow council members I've served with, Daniel, our staff, and the town of Smithfield as a whole for allowing me to be a part of a very eventful yet fulfilling 4 years in office. The best interest of the town of Smithfield has been the motivator and driver for all my decisions I've made in these past 4 years. And I know the new council will continue to operate the same way and move the town of Smithfield forward. So Travis, Roger, Marlon, Perry, Charles A., Andy, Emery, good luck. Thank you all.
Thank you, Zach. That's kind of hard. To see a fellow member like that service. He's done us great. Vic, can you come over, please? There's a lot I can say about this gentleman right here, but I won't say it tonight. But Vic has served Smithfield for over 20 years in the capacity of council for his district. I can't say enough about Vic because the first time I ran for city council, I ran against him. He beat me by 7 votes. I never forgot that, Vic. I knew you hauled in that last few minutes, but anyway. Vic has got a heart for Smithfield like none other. He has always felt that Smithfield being his home, that he should always hold it highly, speak highly of it, and keep the integrity of the historical values of our community. I've seen him work tirelessly about the Hastings House and the library which he has served on the library board for, gosh knows, all these years, just about the whole time. He has served on many other boards and had a voice, unlike Zach. Vic speaks, and he listens when he rumbles, you know, with his voice, with dedication. Vic, it's been a privilege to serve with you. Vic was not only regular council, he served as mayor pro tem under my first term for 2 years, and was there when I needed him. If I needed to call on him, he was there to serve us. Vic, it's only fitting that this proclamation speaks to some of that. If you'll indulge me, I'll read this to you, for you. It says, the proclamation in honor of Councilman J. Vic Ogburn, Jr., for the service of the town of Smithfield. Whereas the town of Smithfield it wishes to acknowledge and express the appreciation of Vic Ogburn for his dedicated service to the citizens of Smithfield as a member of the town council for the past 20 years. Whereas he has served a town council member representing District 2 since being elected in December the 7th of 1993, as well as Mayor Pro Tem from 2009 to 2011. And during that time, he represented the town of Smithfield with respect and honor. Whereas an elected official, Vic Ogburn, has devoted his time, his energy, his talent to the town of Smithfield and provide experience and sound judgment and ardent support while serving in various committees. Vic Ogburn has been instrumental in preserving the integrity and historical values of the town of Smithfield by ensuring that the historical markers, such as the Hastings House and the Bingham House, remain in the downtown area. Vic has served for the good of the town of Smithfield to improve the quality of life of generations to come by supporting the Parks and Recreation, public safety, and the community development. Whereas the town of Smithfield has been fortunate to have had his service of Vic Ogburn, who has provided leadership and rendered a good judgment for the betterment of all for the citizens of the town of Smithfield. Whereas I, Daniel Evans Jr., the mayor of the town of Smithfield, along with the members of this council, do express our sincere appreciation to J. Vic Ogburn Jr. for his leadership and distinguished service to the town of Smithfield.
Thank you, Mayor.
Likewise, Vic, it gives me pleasure to present to you this key to the city. It's with honor and this friendship that I do that, and with support of this council. You've been a great team player, a great team member of this board, and I want to recognize you in that way.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
It has been a pleasure.
Go ahead.
Oh, is that a portrait?
Yeah, go ahead.
It has been a pleasure to serve the town. You know, my father served on this board, and I knew a lot of gentlemen from that era that served on this board years ago. And it was with a great deal of self, I felt like it was an honor to be here to serve the town of Smithfield. And any of you members that are staying here should ever serve your self-interest or interests that don't hold the highest honors of Smithfield and move this town forward. You will be doing a disservice to this board, because it is an honor and it needs to be taken very, very seriously. And, you know, I always, when I had a decision or I thought I needed a decision, I had several people that I would always think back and I'd say, what would they do? And two of them, of course, was my father. And I would say, what would my father do? And whatever it came down, that was the way you needed to go, because he was an honorable gentleman. The second person I always thought about was Mr. A.G. Glenn, who happened to be the principal of this school, Smithfield High School, for years and years. And he was also a very honorable gentleman. And whatever he would do, it was the right thing. And you could follow that trail and know that you were in the right direction. Thank you for letting me serve you. And it has been my privilege and honor. Thank you.
In further recognition of Vic's love of history and his desire to preserve the Hastings House, this is something that the board wanted to present to you on behalf of this board and this community. I think it's number 9 of 100. And Vic, we want you to present this in your home and be proudly look at it each time and know your dedicated service to this board.
Thank you. That's very lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Charles, come on down. My good friend here, Mr. Charles, has served this community of East Smithfield as well as this entire town for 24 years. Folks, that's a lot of time. Charles has been our wisdom on the board. We look to him for things. Somebody said, well, what are we going to do? He said, well, what we used to do, or what we have done. He brought to us knowledge from days past, which a lot of times is very valuable because it lets us know not to go in this pitfall or that way because of the experience. And I've always valued that, Charles. We've not always agreed, but we've always come out of what's best for the town of Smithfield. I remember when we were talking about water issues over in East Side, which Charles has vigorously fought for, water control, other things in his community. He'd stand right straight in the midst of everybody and say, well, this is what we got to have. So he stood strong. That shows great character and leadership. And it's with that, I would like to read this proclamation, Mr. Charles, recognizing you and your dedicated service to the town of Smithfield. Whereas the town of Smithfield wishes to acknowledge and express its appreciation to Charles E. Williams for his dedicated services to the citizens of Smithfield as a member of the town council for 24 consecutive years. Whereas during his tenure, Charles E. Williams devoted his time, his interest to the matters affecting East Smithfield as the councilman representative of citizens of District 1 and also representing the entire town citizenry as an at-large minister. Whereas through the performance of his duties and responsibilities as a member of the town council, he has made excellent and constructive contributions to the municipal government in the town of Smithfield. And Mr. Williams has demonstrated his sensitivity for doing what is the best for his entire community, for understanding and promoting diversity, for courage in expressing his convictions without regard to public favor. Mr. Williams has served for the good of the town of Smithfield to improve the quality of life for generations to come, supporting parks and recreation, public safety, community involvement, and development. Whereas the town of Smithfield has been fortunate to have had his service of Charles Williams, who has provided leadership and rendered good judgment for the betterment of all the citizens of the town of Smithfield. Charles E. Williams has demonstrated his deep and genuine affection for the town of Smithfield and its citizens. Now therefore, I, Daniel Evans Jr., the mayor of the town of Smithfield, along with the members of this council, express our sincere appreciation to Charles E. Williams for his dedicated and distinguished service to the town of Smithfield. Likewise, Mr. Williams, it gives me pleasure to give you this key to the city. You probably got a lot of other keys to this city in the years you've been serving, but we thank you for your dedication and for the time spent. And I don't say that lightly. Those who follow, you take your lead. Okay? And we thank you for that. I got one other thing I want to present to Mr. Williams. This is a very special print. This is the original, not a copy. This is the original drawing of Johnston Central High School, which was in the east side. The lady who printed this said, we contacted her and said, we want to do something special for Mr. Charles. And she said, well, I'm going to give the original, not a copy, to this occasion. Mr. Williams, we want to say thank you. We want you to display this and remember this council and your service, and remember the citizens who you spoke for all these years. We thank you again for this time.
Well, over the years, it's been a trying time where we all come through, and I certainly appreciate the support that all the citizens of the town of Smithfield have given to me and encouraged me, not only from the board members, but also the citizens that I meet in the street, some that I never knew, but they always tell me, hey, you're doing a good job. But sometimes people tell you you're doing a good job. You may not be doing a good job, but you have to look around and say, well, you know, if they think so, maybe I need to kind of straighten up a little bit and try to make sure that, you know, the things that I do, I make sure that I can do the best that I can do whenever I do them. And so therefore, you know, it makes you stronger. It makes you start to thinking about other people, rather than yourself, or how other people will feel, and what it is trying to make our life a whole lot better. And I hope that some of the things that I've done have improved the lives of the people in Smithfield. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to relinquish it to our Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Ashton.
Mayor Evans, don't go anywhere, please.
Okay.
I first met Daniel in high school.
Talk about how old we are.
He was older than me, but I met him in high school. I always thought he was a pretty smart fellow. And then I saw him marry his high school sweetheart, Miss Vicky. And I knew he was a real smart fellow. And over the years, I watched him as a family man. I watched him involved with his children and their activities. And I can remember 12 years ago, seeing Daniel walk in the neighborhood to run for town council. Since that time, I have watched him and witnessed his tireless efforts working through his town. Spent many, many hours working on town business. And to do it well, it takes it. You got to work at it. And Mayor-elect Lampy, there's big shoes to fill. And I appreciate all your work for Smithfield. And I am honored as a citizen, as a fellow F graduate, to present this proclamation to you on behalf of the council and the town. And if you'll bear with me, let me read it. Whereas the operation of local government is judged by the dedication, compassion, and professionalism of its leadership. And such leaders are judged by their ability, character, understanding, and respect for their fellow man. And whereas Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr. has exemplified these qualities as a member of the Smithfield Town Council since 2001. Whereas Wilbert Daniel Evans has served the town of Smithfield and its citizens as a councilman representing District 2 beginning his first term in December 2001, and as Mayor Pro Tem from December 2005 until he was elected mayor in December 2011. And whereas, as an elected official, Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr. has devoted the majority of his time, energy, and talents to the growth and development of the town of Smithfield, and has provided tremendous leadership and vision on its behalf with integrity, fairness, and careful deliberation. And whereas, as Mayor Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr. was a champion for economic development and growth in the town of Smithfield, and was instrumental in the construction of the Smithfield Recreation and Aquatic Center and the Smithfield Crossings Project. And whereas the town of Smithfield has been fortunate to have had the services of Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr., who has provided leadership and rendered good judgment for the betterment of all citizens of the town. And whereas the town of Smithfield, its employees and its citizens extend a sincere thank you to Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr. for the countless hours he has dedicated to town governing with impartiality, and knowing that he will continue to be active in the community in many ways and in other endeavors. Now therefore, I, Emory D. Ashley, Mayor Pro Tem of the town of Smithfield, along with the members of the town council, express our deepest gratitude and sincere appreciation to Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr. for giving his energy, time, talents, and expertise for the benefit of others while serving the town of Smithfield. Daniel was so active as a mayor and worked so hard that as Mayor Pro Tem, I didn't get to do a whole lot of stuff, so this is really neat. Daniel, likewise, like you have done to the other, did present you a key to the city. As it still is a rural community, you might want to knock before you try to use the key.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Emily Farnell, and I am the Constituent Services Assistant assigned to the Smithfield office of Congressman McIntyre's office. It's right beside the mayor's office. I'm going to miss your good mornings every day. The congressman wished he could be here. Unfortunately, he's in Washington tonight. But he wanted to say congratulations to the new people who are coming onto the council, as well as thank you to all of those who have served. He will be the first to tell you that municipal government does more to directly impact citizens' lives than the federal government ever will. But he particularly wanted me to honor his good friend, Mayor Daniel Evans. And because of that, he submitted this congressional tribute into the official congressional record. It was submitted back in September. We wanted to beat the shutdown. But I'm just going to read the first and last paragraph. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to pay tribute to a truly outstanding North Carolinian, Mayor Daniel Evans of Smithfield, North Carolina. When Mayor Evans was elected to his post, he began dedicating himself wholly to bettering the great community. I ask you to join me in recognizing his long and honorable career. Mr. Speaker, even as Mayor Evans has dedicated many years of his life to solving the complex problems facing Smithfield, he has managed to remain openly accessible to its citizens. His enduring commitment to his community makes him an exemplary public servant, and his accomplishments will continue to benefit Eastern North Carolina for many years to come. As his time as mayor of Smithfield comes to a close, let us honor Mayor Evans and pray that he and his family may receive God's richest blessings upon them. So, on behalf of my boss.
At this time, I'd like to recognize Mr. Durwood Stevenson for a special presentation.
I'm happy to be here on such a festive occasion. Most time I come in here, there's no seats. I said, what's going on? I imagine the council. Oh my goodness, what have we stepped into now? But tonight is a festive occasion, and I appreciate Paul inviting me to participate and be a part of it. My task here is to present a very special award to an individual. But before I do that, I'd like to add my personal thanks to those of you that are departing and have served this community so well and long. Sometimes it's a thankless job that robs one of their personal life and family time, and so it's an unselfish dedication to your town and your community when you agree to do it. So, and to those of you that are coming in, I wish you well and encourage take it. You know, the key, I think, is always clear community lines of clear communication. And I think this outgoing board and this new board and our mayor has done a good job of communicating to the citizens of this town and community, and I think it's made it better. And communication, it's so easy to get off track and rumors to spread, particularly in the political vein. It gets off track and people misunderstand, and misunderstandings are what lead to the difficulties a lot of times. And I know a couple of weeks ago, I went to the grocery store with my wife to get our turkey for Thanksgiving, and she was looking at a rather large one, something 18 to 20 pounds. She said, we had a big crowd coming in, and she kept running through the freezer, and everything she found was smaller. So finally she pulled one out, and a young man came by, and she said, do these things not get any bigger? He said, ma'am, they're dead. It is easy to miscommunicate what you're trying to say. And as those that have recently run, and those of you that run the field of politics know far more about it than I do, but it's hard to get the praise and glory that you're getting tonight, and some of you, your time will come. I know President Johnson said one time, if I got up in the morning and walked barefoot across the Potomac River, the headlines tomorrow would say, the president can't swim. So it's hard sometimes to get a good, but I wasn't invited here to preach, and I don't have a license for it, so I'll move to this. Mayor Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr., and I'd like for Vicki to come forward as well. You shared the workload with her, so we're going to share the honor and recognition with her as well. The highest award that our state can give is the Order of the Long Leaf Pine. And tonight is a night of celebration, and I wanted to make this presentation to you on behalf of the governor of the state of North Carolina. Shannon gave me a whole lot of stuff here about you, and I think everybody in the room knew most of it or knows most of it. We talked here repeatedly about the time that he has served and given to the community unselfishly. We know about his career in law enforcement. We know so much about him. 2 fine sons. One of them served as an intern with my daughter over at the hospital, and she has nothing but praise for him. So that in itself is achievement enough to get recognition and award. But you've gone far beyond that, and you due recognition here for that. I was not going to read this thing. The mayor seemed intent on getting things read, so I think maybe we ought to read it. State of North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory, Wilbert Daniel Evans Jr., I do by these presents confer the Order of the Long Leaf Pine and the rank of Ambassador Extraordinary, privileged to enjoy fully all rights granted to members of this exalted order, among which is the special privilege to propose the following North Carolina toast in select company anywhere in the free world. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun does shine, where the weak go strong and the strong go great. Here's to down home, the old North State. So I offer that to you with thanks to the citizens and myself personally and the office of the governor. And you've done a great job. I would just say to you, there's a poem that I don't recall the author, and I don't recall the early lines, and at my age you don't recall much of anything, but yeah, I think it is fitting for a departing mayor, the 4 lines that I do recall. Take and sip that what has come before you. Keep what is worth keeping, and with the breath of kindness, blow the rest away. Thank you very much.
I don't think I've ever been speechless, but I am this time. You know, it's been my privilege and honor to serve this community. One which that through years, and my city manager said something this morning, I call him mine because he is, but years from now we'll look back and and see what this meant to us all. You know, we'll reflect when we get older. We might can remember, I don't know. But we'll reflect on what has made a difference and those things we do need to blow away that don't make a difference. One of the greatest privileges I have had is meeting the people in the community. When we first started as mayor, I thought it important to bring this government back to the people. So we started something called In Touch, our meetings in touch. And we got out to different parts of the community in each district, and we talked to people and found out their interest and their love and their confusion about their town's government. Learned a lot about to talk to people about their struggles. One lady, I distinctly remember, invited me into her home. We were over in one of the churches. She said, son, as she called me, couldn't see her because in her house she had no lights on, but she had a heater going very faintly. She said, I want you to tell me how I can decide, since you're the big man in this community, I'll never forget it, how I'm going to choose between what to eat and paying my light bill. My light bill's too high. Wow. It hits you pretty hard. And you know how what you do here in your community affects people directly. Okay? The reason she didn't have lights on is because she couldn't afford it, as she said. We've heard a lot about utilities. We've worked hard with a group of mayors across North Carolina to try to do something about what we are in our public power system. And I do think, I may not see it as mayor here, but this council, I think, will see some decisions made based on the hard work that we have done these past few years. And that lady will see some relief. We've had some difficult times in our economy, but yet Smithfield continues to move forward. We've built bridges. Controversially sometimes, but we build them and it's pretty when it comes into Smithfield. We've built roads called Derwin-Stevenson Highway that connects West Smithfield and North Side. We've added jobs. We've had, I don't know how many hundreds of building permits that's been coming into this community. We've seen our community grow. If you don't believe it, just get out on 301 and try to go somewhere about lunchtime. It takes 20 minutes to go to Bojangles and back. That's people coming to our community, thriving in our workplaces. We've had industrial sites that have been identified. We've got people talking to us about coming to our community to grow. We've worked collaboratively with my mayors who are here. God knows that's wonderful to see. Y'all stand up. Some of you already stand up. I got Benson, Pine Level, Archer's Lodge, Four Oaks, Selma, Princeton. All these guys are my cohorts that we work closely with. Before then, thank you. Before then, I'm not sure we ever talked to one another, did we? But now, you know what we're doing? We're working together, sharing inventories, sharing expenses, talking about strategies of how we do things better. For who? For the citizens, not for ourselves. John, that's how you get it done. You work together. I said I wasn't going to talk long, and I'm not. I'm going to hush. But I had to say those few things. This is an honor. Somebody asked me this morning, says, how does it feel to be free? Well, I was free before I got the job, but, you know, in the sense that I knew what he was saying, I'll never be free because I'm always going to work for the town of Smithfield, whether I'm a mayor or not, because this is my home. It's where I raised my boys and my love, my wife. I want to thank them especially because they stood behind me in the good and the bad. Never wavered. Never questioned whether they loved me or not. Didn't care how bad it got up here on Tuesday night, first Tuesday night of the month. I could go home, still love me, the dog still wagged his tail when I got there. So my family, it's what's important. They stood behind me, and I'm thankful for each one of you for what you've done. I thank you for the community and this council. Again, I always agree that we've always seen the betterment of the community. The only thing I want to leave you with, this is a great honor, and I'm grateful to the congressman as well as to the governor and this council. The only thing I ask that you do, that you pray for each day for God's speed, God's direction, and let your conscience guide you. Thank you very much.
Daniel, before you slip away, this is not on the agenda, but I'm going to take the liberty, if it pleases you, Mr. Mayor. One thing I wanted to point out was that speaks highly of what you just mentioned about your family is what I noticed, I guess the first week in November was that one lone yard sign that I saw up in someone's yard, someone very special to you, over in South Smithfield. I think that speaks very highly of the support that you have from your family, and I think that was awesome. It was an awesome sign. I just hope that one day my sons will have the same respect for me as obviously yours do for you. I want to thank you for giving your time and service to the town of Smithfield. For the countless hours that I spent early on in your jewelry store talking about the town and us trying to figure out what the best thing to do for the town of Smithfield. I want to thank you. I learned a lot. I know it took away from your business, but I learned a lot from those discussions that we had there in your store. Most important thing I did learn was that if you ever want to buy jewelry, go see Vicki. And she will give you a discount every now and then, let me tell you. But all seriously, over the last 12 years that we've served the people of Smithfield together, we've not always agreed, and there have been some high times as well as some low times. However, we managed to work through the low times for the betterment of Smithfield as a whole. One thing that I want to especially thank you for and commend you for, and it's something that you've already touched on, you kind of stole my thunder as I looked out in the audience earlier and saw the mayors. I was going to ask them to stand up. I've now served on this board going on 14 years, and I've seen 4 mayors give up their gavel, and I've never seen this many mayors present at a ceremony such as this. I think that speaks volumes. But I want to thank you also for the relationships that you've built and the bonds that you've created, not only with our local mayors, but with other county officials, elected officials, as well as other state and national leaders all over this state and all over this nation. Those bonds that you have built will serve this town well in future years. And I want to thank you. To Vicki and the boys, I'm sure that there have been some conflicts between town meetings throughout the years, between meetings and baseball games, birthdays, other sporting events, anniversaries, or just plain old date nights. I want to thank you for giving your father and your husband to the town and allowing him to serve in an effort to make Smithfield a better place to live for current as well as for future generations. You should be proud of your father and your husband for his dedication to those who he has served well. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
We now come to that point on the agenda where we get to introduce and administer the oath of office to the freshman class. And at this time, I'd like to call Councilman Marlon Lee and the Honorable District Court Judge Addie Rawls up to the podium. And Marlon, feel free if you've got any family who want to come with you.
Mr. Ashley and other members of this council, to all who have gathered here this afternoon, I'm going to administer the oath of office to newly elected Councilman Marlon Lee. If you would place your left hand on the Bible, now raise your right hand. All right, and if you would please, when I say I, your name, and then repeat after me.
I, Marlon Lee,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge, and ability. So help me God. Then I,
Marlon Lee,
do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of councilman representing District 1 of the town of Smithfield, according to the best of my skill and ability, according to law. So help me God. If you so consent, say I will. Congratulations, Councilman Lee.
At this time, we'll call Councilman Perry Harris and the Honorable Clerk of Superior Court, Will R. Crocker, to the podium. And whatever family, Perry, that will claim you, please come forward.
Mr. Harris, you now ready to take your oath of office?
Yes, sir, I am.
Place the good book in your left hand and raise your right. And when I say the word I, you say your name and repeat after me, please, sir. Everything all right down there?
I, Perry Harris,
Do solemnly
do solemnly
and sincerely swear
and sincerely swear
I will support
the
the Constitution
Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
by true allegiance
by true allegiance
to the great state of North
to
Carolina
the great state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional power
and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will endeavor support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge
to the best of my
and
knowledge
ability,
and ability.
so help you
So
God.
help me God.
I
I, Perry Harris,
do swear
do swear
I will well and truly execute
execute
the duties
the duties
office
office
of councilman
of councilman
representing District 2
representing District 2
in the town of
in
Smithfield,
the town of Smithfield,
according to the best of my skill,
according to the best of my skills,
ability, according to law,
according to
so
law.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations to you, young man.
Councilman-elect Travis Scott, if you will approach. Mr. Crocker.
You now ready to take your oath of office?
Yes, sir.
Left hand and raise your right, sir. When I say the word "I," you say your name and repeat after me, please, sir. I,
Travis Scott,
do solemnly
do solemnly
and sincerely swear
and sincerely swear
I will support
I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and I will be faithful
and I, Travis Scott, will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the great state of North Carolina
to the great state of North Carolina,
and to the constitutional powers
to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are
which are
or may be
or may be
established for the government
established for the government
thereof, and I will endeavor
and I, Travis Scott, will endeavor
to support, maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution
with the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
to the best of your ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help you God.
so help me God.
I
Travis Scott,
do swear
do swear
I will well
I will well
and truly
and truly
execute
execute
the duties
the duties
office of councilman
office of councilman
representing
representing
District 3
District 3,
of the town of Smithfield,
town of Smithfield,
according to the best of your skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability,
and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Call Councilman-elect Roger Wood and the Honorable Thomas H. Law.
Place your left hand on the Bible, sir. Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Roger A. Wood,
I, Roger A. Wood,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to
and bear true allegiance to
the state of North Carolina
the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor
and I will endeavor
to support, maintain, and defend
to support, maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
So help me
so
God.
help me God.
I, Roger A. Wood,
I, Roger A. Wood,
do swear
do swear
that I will well and truly
that I will well and truly
execute the duties of
execute the duties of
the office of councilman
the office of councilman
representing District 4
representing District 4
of the town of Smithfield,
of the town of Smithfield,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to law.
according to law,
So help me
so
God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
Mayor-elect John Lampy, please come forward.
That's my mistake. That's my mistake. You told me twice. Mr. Mayor, you ready now to take your office?
Yes, sir.
Hold a good book in your left hand. And when I say the word "I," you say your name and repeat after me, your honorable mayor.
I, John Lanker,
Do solemnly
do solemnly
and sincerely swear
and sincerely swear
I will support
I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States.
and I will be faithful,
I will be faithful,
bear true allegiance
bear true
to
allegiance
the great state of North
to
Carolina,
the great state of North Carolina,
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be
which are or may be
established
established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor,
that I will endeavor,
force,
support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of your knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability.
and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. I, John Lanker,
Do swear
do swear
I will well and truly
I will well and truly
execute
execute
the duties
the duties
office of mayor
office of mayor
of town of Smithfield,
of the town of Smithfield
according to the best of your skill,
to the best of my skills,
ability,
ability,
according to law.
according to
So
law,
help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations to you.
All right, I guess I'm the mayor, and I'm going to start off with the election of a mayor pro tem.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Mr. Andy Moore as Mayor Pro Tem for the upcoming two-year term.
Second. I second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Next item of business is going to be approval for our 2013 Town Council meeting calendar. You should have it on the agenda. As it is in the agenda, does anybody make a motion to approve or discuss?
Make a motion to approve that as shown in the agenda.
Second. All right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Ayes have it. There's a lot here for the mayor's report, and I have nothing to report since I've been mayor for about 3 minutes. We'll pass on that one. And are there any council members who'd like to make any comments?
I would just say, welcome aboard, everybody. I look forward to working with each of you. That's it.
All right, thanks. All right, the next will be the town manager's report.
Mayor, thank you and welcome aboard. Also, on behalf of the staff and certainly my office, I want to first welcome the new council board. I've met and spoke to most of you at length, sometimes on a basketball court, sometimes in my office, and sometimes across the street in the mayor's office. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Look forward to working with you. And I also want to say on behalf of the council who's just departed and the mayor, on behalf of the staff, I want to thank you. You're a great team to work for, a great mayor to serve, and we do thank you. We know that all of you, every single one, we know you looked out for the employees in an appropriate manner. You made some tough decisions, and we appreciate that. We appreciate what you've done on behalf of the town, and we think a lot of what you've done. I know you'll serve. In fact, some mentioned the mayor when he walked out. He may be the busiest person I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's just in the first 2 hours of each and every day. I can't wait till he's had a month or so to kind of relax a little bit and see how many committees we can get him back involved with so he can be a part of the town. We look forward to that. And to his further reputation and credit, I want to point out that most of the mayors who attended here from the other towns, in fact, the vast majority of those mayors agreed to come even before we told them there was going to be food served after this meeting. So to his credit. Thank you on behalf of the staff and everyone else. We enjoyed working for you. Thank you, Mayor.
That's it? That's your report?
Mayor, I have a written report, and as I was told by one of my favorite returning councilmen, Mr. Harris, I need to be brief at times, and this is one of those times.
All right. I move we adjourn for the reception.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.